And so let's just go all the way back, and I can tell you where it all started. So I recently started a new job. Not too recently, maybe like 6 months ago. I started a new job, and the job has a very steep learning curve for me. And so that makes me feel a lot of times like I question myself a lot at my job because there is so much for me to know and learn. And I am still relatively new. Well, at that point, a few months ago, I was still very new. And I was still learning a lot, but I was responsible for a lot. And so it just made me question myself a lot and made me very anxious in general. So that's kind of like the headspace that I was in a few months ago when these feelings really started to come about. And more specifically, there's one day in particular where I would say was the beginning of the end for me, as far as like my mental and emotional state. That kind of started that 2 to 3 month time span when I was really just not happy. So we're gonna do a little story time. So I was at work and I was talking to one of my coworkers. I was talking to one of my coworkers, telling him that I was like interested in like a friend that I had known for a little while. I was telling him like, yeah, I'm interested in this guy or whatever. And I wanted to like talk to him, but I was so nervous. I was telling him like, yeah, he's cute, I want to talk to him, like he all that. But like I don't want to like shoot my shot because he probably not gonna like me, or he not gonna like my pictures on Instagram, like I'm gonna shoot and it's gonna miss, like just telling myself all of this stuff that could go wrong. And he was like, girl, like you gotta be sure of yourself, like you sound like you insecure. Like I don't remember the exact words, but the gist of it was that he said that I sound insecure. And when he said that, it really like hit me. Like it really made me like step back and think like, am I insecure? Like for somebody who barely knew me at that point in time to say that, and not like in a mean way or in a negative way, he's just making an observation based on our conversation. For him to say that, it just made me very uncomfortable. And I had to step back and really like think about it and ask myself like, am I insecure? Like, and then I started saying like to myself, do I have low self-esteem? Like what is going on? And then once I thought about it and really sat, like really for the rest of that day I worked, that's all I thought about. Even once I got home, like that's all I was thinking about. Like, am I insecure? Do I have low self-esteem? And after I thought about it and I like thought back to the way that I speak to myself and the way that I treat myself, I had to admit to myself in that moment that I had low self-esteem. And that's like for me that was a hard pill to swallow. Even now it's like a hard pill to swallow. Like I'm not even really comfortable saying that out loud, but when I think about it, like it's pretty true. Now, I'm not gonna say I got like the lowest of the lowest of the low self-esteem, like, cause I got some self-esteem now. I ain't out here just out here like that. But I don't have the highest self-esteem either. So I would say like I have like high level low self-esteem, if that makes sense. So like on a scale, I have a low self-esteem, but on the higher end of low self-esteem. So not like middle self-esteem, if that makes sense. So I really had to admit that to myself. And then after that day, just like realizing and admitting to myself that I had low self-esteem, and then also being in a job where I'm constantly like not sure of myself, constantly not sure of what I'm doing, it just added like so much anxiety. Like it just created so much anxiety for me. Just like always feeling judged, always wondering like, am I doing this right? Am I not doing this right? What are people thinking? Like, do these people like me? Like, do they think I'm dumb? I'm not dumb, but I don't really understand what's going on, so I look like I'm dumb. But it's just so much that was just constantly just racing through my mind. Like, as far as my job, as far as me and being confident in myself, it was just so much. And it was just really like, for a while, just taking a toll on me. to the point where I was like sad every day, like pretty much sad every day. Like wake up sad, spend a whole day sad, come home sad, go to sleep sad, like just sad, 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 sad. Like, oh my god, like to the point that I like Googled and researched and was about to go to a therapist because I'm like, I think I might be depressed. Like I'm sad, I don't really know why I'm sad. Nothing is making me unsad. I'm just freaking sad. Like I'm like, are my hormones imbalanced? Like something is wrong with me right now, and I don't know what it is. I don't like it, and I really don't know like how to get out of this. And it was so bad that one day I was driving home from work, and I literally like bust out into tears, like just crying, like boo-hoo crying the whole way home. And I'm just like, Brandy, like something is not right, but it just, I don't know. I don't really know where I didn't know what to do, pretty much. And so I just let it linger. And I didn't, to be honest, I didn't really want, I was so low that I didn't really want to be, I didn't want it to be there. I didn't want to, I wanted to stay sad, honestly. I wasn't at a point where I was ready to have a more positive outlook on just have a more positive perspective in general. I just didn't want that at the time, honestly. So I kind of I just let myself be sad and just dealt with it. But luckily I have been feeling a lot better lately. Because I kind of got tired of myself. I kind of got tired of being sad every day. I got tired. I felt like I was getting on people's nerves too. Like, oh my God, this girl always say, I don't want to be that person that's like Debbie Downer, pretty much, like, or that's always just sad and walking around. I don't want to be that person. And I kind of just got tired of being sick. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, pretty much. And then I decided, like, I gotta make a change. I have to make a change. And that's what I'm starting to do, you know, with this podcast starting today. And one thing that I have done on my self-love journey so far is that I have been self-learning. So I've been learning myself, learning the things that that trigger me, learning the things that bother me, learning the things, trying to unpack why I am the way that I am. And I think that self-learning is very important, or what some people may call self-awareness. I think that is very important. But I think that there's a thin line between being self-aware and like beating yourself up. And I think I've been so self-aware. I've been working on self-awareness so much that it has reached a point where it's kind of like I'm beating myself up, right? So I'm like, well, I'm like this because blah, 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 blah. Or I have this negative trait or this negative behavior because of this. This is the root of that. I don't like this because of this thing. And it's like when I'm trying to unpack it, but a lot of that unpacking is based on negative things. And after, when you focus on the negative for so long, it no longer becomes positive, right? So in the beginning, self-learning is supposed to be positive because it brings you a level of awareness about yourself, right? But I was in that mode where I was focused on negative so much that it was no longer positive. And so what I'm working on now is coming out of that I'm still self-learning, but self-learning on the aspect of learning what I do like, what makes me happy, what excites me. Focusing on things like that and learning myself from that perspective. Okay, so now that I've like made a decision that, you know, I've been in this place for some time where I was sad, I wasn't happy, I wasn't loving myself, right? Now that I've been in that place and I've decided that I'm going to start my self-love journey today, and that I'm going to commit to learning myself from a different perspective, learning and taking a more positive approach to learning myself. Where do I go from here is the next question that I have. And now that I've decided that it's necessary for me to go on this self-love journey because the way that I've been operating does not work anymore. Okay, the level of self-love and self-confidence that I have had up to this point in life, it has worked for me. Okay, but now at this point in life, now that I'm 24, I am, a professional. I am trying to establish my life for myself and build a future for myself. The level of confidence, the level of self-love that I have for myself simply just does not work. It does not meet what is required in order for me to get to where I want to go. It's not enough. It doesn't work in school. I mean, I'm not in school, but it doesn't work at work. It doesn't work when it comes to dating. It doesn't work when it comes to friendships. It doesn't work when it comes to anything in my life. The level of self-love that I have had up to this point that I have now, it does not work. And I have to change. And I have to make a commitment to that change. And like I said before, my job exposes and emphasizes my low self-esteem and my lack of confidence a lot. Because it is an environment that does not support low self-esteem. It does not support being insecure. In my job, you have to be confident. You have to be sure of yourself. And so that's just an example of why it's so important and why it's necessary for me to make this change. Because if I want to succeed professionally, if I want to succeed, in relationships, if I want to succeed in any area of my life, I cannot continue to operate the way that I have been operating in the past. And so I am focused on breaking my bad habits. I'm focused on not procrastinating, not being lazy, not dealing with things that I don't like because I don't want to tell people no, or I don't want them to be upset at me for saying no. I'm not going to continue to not stick to my word that I set for myself. If I say that I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning at 7, okay, 9 times out of 10 I'm waking up at 8 o'clock. I need to stop doing it. Okay, if I set a goal, if I say something to myself, I need to stick to my word to myself so that I can be sure in myself that I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. Because at this point, it's like I don't even believe myself when I say I'm going to do something. Like, ain't that crazy? Like, I don't even believe myself. I need to stick to my word when it comes to me so that I can get stuff done, so that I can set goals and really know that they're going to get done. And not set a goal, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, girl, you know that's not really going to get done. No, because it's stuff that I have to do. And it's stuff that, stuff needs to have deadlines. And if I'm constantly procrastinating, constantly not sticking to my word, I will never be able to progress. And I can't do that anymore. I'm not going to continue to hold in my thoughts and emotions and continuously overthink. I'm going to work on expressing myself and speaking up, even if it makes other people uncomfortable, even if it, is like confrontational or whatever the case is. I have to do that because me overthinking, me keeping so much in, it causes me a lot of anxiety. And I can't deal with that anymore. I cannot deal with being anxious and constantly overthinking about everything. I can't continue like that. And I also cannot continue to talk down to myself and to present an unauthentic version of myself to the world. And those two are going to be the hardest for me. I read this book recently. It's called Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. I love that book. If you're a podcaster, a podcast listener, you might know Jay Shetty. If you know Jay Shetty, let me know down in the comments on YouTube. And if you listen to his podcast, listen to his book, let me know. And let me know what you thought about the book. But I loved his book, Think Like a Monk. And one quote that he had in the book is that I am who you think that I am. And when I read that, it resonated with me so much because it's so true. Because I am who I think other people think that I am. And sometimes if who I really am is not in line with who I think they think that I am, it makes me uncomfortable. It makes me not want to express that true version of myself because I don't want to be judged I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be looked at as like weird or something like that. And so I kind of restrict myself based on what I think people expect of me. And I can't. That doesn't work for me anymore either. That doesn't work for me. And speaking down on myself, like, you're not, like, I'm not good enough, or I don't look right, or I don't dress right, or I don't talk right, or I'm not funny. That's not loving. That's not loving, and I wouldn't speak to someone else like that, and so I'm not going to continue to speak to myself about that. That's something that I'm going to work on my journey, right? I'm going to work on all of those things, and that's a lot. That's a lot that I have to work on, but it's a lot of necessary stuff. And so, yeah, that's what it's going to be. And just to go back, another reason why I really want to go on this want to focus on breaking all these bad habits is because sometimes I see these habits in other people. I see myself in other people, and I see how they behave. And when I recognize, and this is no shade to those people, because I see myself in them. But when I see them acting in the way that I also behave, it kind of like gives me a reflection of me. And sometimes I'm like, whoa, like, this is how I am? Like, my negativity can bring down a room like this, the way this person is bringing my mood down. My negativity about myself can bring other people down like this. Like, oh no, I don't want to be like that. Or me not holding my word is annoying, or is hindering hindering business, or hindering something from getting done. Like, no, I don't want to be like that. I need to stop procrastinating, because this person is procrastinating and it's holding me up and it's getting on my nerves. So when I'm procrastinating, I'm holding somebody else up and it's getting on their nerves. And not only is it getting on their nerves, but it's unproductive. And so when I see myself in other people, and I get that reflection, it kind of is also a wake-up call for me. And I have experienced that a couple times, and it kind of reinforced to me that there are things that I need to change. So that's the beginning of my self-love story, pretty much. In a nutshell, not really a nutshell, because I didn't really say a lot of stuff. But yeah, this is the beginning for me. This is day one of my self-love journey. I got a brand new diary, got my pen, and it's writing on the first page. So y'all get everything. So to wrap up the podcast, I'm going to answer a question from this card deck that I have. It has like self-love questions on here, and I'm going to pull a random card and answer the question. So let's see what it is. Let me pull a good one. Hopefully it's good. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, this is a good question. Are you giving your all to the relationship you have with yourself? If not, why? So, I would say at this point in time, I am giving 80% of myself to my relationship with myself. So, am I giving my all? No. Am I giving my all? No. But am I giving most of myself? Yes. I will say yes, I'm giving most of myself. So if not, then why? Why am I not giving my all to the relationship that I have with myself? That's a good question. I would say that I'm not giving my all because there's a part of me that is still a little bit fearful of completely changing, completely loving myself out loud. That's a little scary for me. It's very scary because it's so different from what I'm used to. And again, like I said, it's different from what I think other people expect of me. So I would say I'm not giving my all because I still have a long way to go. I'm starting my journey, and I'm learning to be comfortable with myself fully. And so that's my answer. So let me know down in the comments, O.S.L.S community. Let me know right now your response to this question. Are you giving your all to the relationship you have with yourself? And if not, why? I think that's a great conversational piece for us to discuss and to get to know each other and to start a conversation. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Our Self-Love Story. I hope this content helps you as you embark on your own self-love journey. Please rate and review the show and join the O.S.L.S community conversation on YouTube today. Your post could be our next conversation starter. Stay tuned for next week's episode coming Saturday at 1 p.m.